can you prove this to me? Like, what is your reasoning why this should be worth one extra point? And it's like it's like a 1/25th of a victory. Why? Or is the same position that like number 10 gets? But why? So why is 1 point? Why is it not 3 points? Why is it not 6 points? Like,
Yes, where does the number come from? Besides
exactly.
of you just making it up and
Just
like fabricating it out
oh,
of
here,
thin
let
air.
me take out a little. It's a one. It came out as a one, guys. And it's like, howdy, how's it going?
Hello, welcome. It
We're
is
back. We're back to Formula One.
Formula One.
We have a great program for you tonight.
Yeah,
I got a couple of things I want to talk about. I got a couple of
yeah,
topics. And, we're in a break week, so there's time to think about the things that about some of the usual things that we talk about when there's like not like a race in time.
yeah.
So I have three things. All right, you'll tell me if you wanna add more to this, but I thought we first talk about
Are this
Australia.
are this all Formula One related?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
First we'll talk about Australia. That's what I'm thinking. Then we can talk about Bahrain. Come back to other things. The scoring points that we didn't get to do back in the
Okay.
first week since we incorporated that in the second week. And then the
Yeah.
last thing is that you said you have some complaints, but I also have a few complaints. Long time in the making in Formula One. Not just about this year, but things that we could see improving. Things that we could see getting better.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to talk about aside from this?
No. Okay,
Ah,
that's pretty good. So we could just start. Australia. It looks like you're carrying the podcast this time.
oh,
So
well, no, I
go
mean,
for it.
it's just I don't know. It's what I've been thinking about. I mean, it's Australia, baby. I love Australia. Australia, it's been I think it's probably close to my favorite track. It probably is my favorite track. If I have, especially in the game, I love playing that track in the game. But more than that, like in real life too, it's just such a beautiful. It feels like it's Formula One at its primest. You know?
Yeah, I feel like people that just got into Formula One recently don't understand like how good Australia is.
Yeah.
Well, how it is and how it isn't. It's just how iconic it is.
Yes.
For
Yes.
many years, the first race of the season was always Australia.
Hmm.
And then, like, obviously, the Formula One games is the one track that you get to like race on first and kind of learn the game.
Yep.
Um, like, you
So
don't know what you're. Go ahead.
some say that the season doesn't really start until Australia is raced. But of course, we skipped it for 2 years. So
Yes.
it's really exciting to be back. It really is a track that I miss. Sorry, you were saying about the game.
No, but yeah, you just race that over and over in the game. You try to learn. Also, it's when you are first getting into a Formula One game, and then you always go like, I'm gonna race the tracks in order because that's
Yes.
what you do.
Uh-huh.
So you begin with Australia, and like
Yeah.
that was just a feeling that like you get to learn the track. You learn about like the braking zones, and it's a good track also to learn how to race Formula One. There's
Yeah.
like some nice speeds or like nice straights to go, some tricky
Yes.
corners,
Hmm.
some chicanes that like are fun to drive around. Also, like I don't remember that is it turn 13, 14, like the one that is like super fast, left, right. Um,
Yes. Hold on. I'll look up the layout really quick. But
well,
go
the
on.
layout for this year is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But like that super fast left, right, that looks so insane whenever you like take it, like whenever you see it in cameras. Um,
Yes.
that
I
that's
think.
like some of the sexiest like Formula One turns ever. Like it's just
Yeah.
like vroom, vroom.
Nine and 10. Yes. I mean, and those always they feel so fast. I can imagine how that feels in the car because you're like literally turning and turning again. But it's just it's I think that's why I feel like it's like a perfectly made for Formula One cars. Like in some tracks, like I would argue, like Spain, it feels like the cars are a little constrained by the track. like like on turn 1 and 2 in Spain, you literally have to go over the curves and then onto the curves on the inside as well, of turn 1 and 2 in order to take that correctly. And that just never feels good. It feels like the track is like inhibiting you from like experience like experiencing the car at its fullest. Whereas in Australia, I think it is just designed for that. I mean, those chicanes, after that slow zone, you go into chicane 3, 4, and then you go into 6 and 7.
Mhm.
Those chicanes feel so nice in the car. It
Yeah.
feels like you're fucking flying on a spaceship when you drive that correctly in the game. When you start doing it really quickly, you're like, oh my god, I understand this. I understand this set of turns. It really feels good.
Well, there's something like particular about Australia is that it's a street circuit, which
Yeah,
usually street circuits are slow, inherently slow, because
yeah.
obviously you're constricted by the space that you have. But Australia is like a fast track. It does have some issues that overtaking is not as easy, but like that's not at least when I think when we got into Formula One, it wasn't that much of an issue. I think it's just an issue of the previous cars that we had on the past few years. The cars
Oh,
are much bigger. It is much harder to follow. There was no DRS back in the day.
yeah. Which
Uh,
which they're totally changing for this year. They're like
yeah,
putting that thing on fucking steroids.
and then is it What's the name of the park? Albert Park, I
Yeah.
think it's called.
Mhm.
Albert Park is, so obviously it's fully green. It's such a pretty track to look at. It's just so beautiful to look at
It is.
Australia.
It's nice. It's like a yellowy green, but it always feels welcoming.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
really, really nice to look at and
yeah,
drive there. The cars are a little bit smaller this year. They're better to follow like one
yeah.
another.
But like
So hopefully, there's 4 DRS zones.
there's 4 DRS zones. That's what I wanted to talk about partly. The 4 DRS zones, like because that was the issue with Australia. I mean, it's kind of difficult to pass there. It's possible. It's just like difficult. You really have to have a fast car. But now there's two things. For one, the cars now can follow each other a little bit better, so that's gonna be fun to watch. And then for two, yeah, 4 DRS zones. What is that gonna do? I mean, because now, I mean, I assume that like nobody's gonna be able to pass on the fourth one, and maybe not in the third one, but in the first and the second, those are still good. And either way,
No,
it's good
I
to.
think the third one they'll be able to. That's a big run. You could probably see even some accidents there.
That could be dangerous. Like at
Yeah,
the end of that, because you're coming so quick and you have to take those assets in the game. When you're trying to do that, you're like fucking sweating. Because also you have to take it as close as possible to the wall.
yeah.
So
You have to
like,
be really on the wall, so you open up the car as much as you can. But there's a
yes,
barrier there, and then you fucking sweep
and
it
so
hard left,
so
hard
if there's
right.
if there's a car in
Yeah,
the inside, it could be it
yeah.
could be
I mean,
difficult for both
maybe
cars.
the way to go is actually go on the outside, so the
Yeah,
guy on the inside needs to brake, like they need to brake.
that
But it does feel like it's possible because it's a long run into that turn with a big DRS zone and
yeah.
cars that can follow each other. So it's gonna be exciting. It could be a
Mhm.
massive crash. It's a street circuit, and they're going
It
really
is.
fast. It looks like
And I remember back in
it
those
looks like
days.
Australia is gonna be a really fast track this year.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
exciting.
remember back in those days when we're like, I remember there were a couple of big crashes in our days, like with Schumacher, and I remember like Truly was like getting like some like big accident,
Yeah, you have
and
Ralph Schumacher because
there was
Rubens
another one
Barrichello broke, or like he hit the
broke too early,
brakes.
or like
No,
like
he hit the
close to.
brakes and moved under
No,
braking.
to the side. Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
had Juan Pablo Montoya was gonna win in 2003. I don't know if you knew that he was
I kind of
leading the race,
remember,
and
but go on.
then he was leading the race. He just needed, I think there were like 20 or 15 or so laps for the race to end. He had already completed his last pit stop, and David Coulthard was second. I think he had like a 10-second advantage, uh, or maybe a little bit less. And then out of turn one, he like just turned, and then he he made a mistake and he spun the car. He what is it
Uh,
called, overturn, or he had a little bit of a
oversteer.
oversteer, and
Hmm.
then yeah, hit the wall.
Oh damn.
He didn't crash out, but Coulthard ended up winning the race, and then Juan Pablo got second, and he's like in the podium, like, sorry, I just went off.
It happens. I mean, it's not. I
Yeah,
mean, all truth be told, it's not like he would have won the championship. It would have just been a nice
it's
victory.
2003. He would
You
have
think
won
he
the
could?
championship.
You think he could have
That
won
was
that?
the year that Schumacher, Kimi, and Juan Pablo all had a chance to win the championship.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Maybe. But I don't know
Ifs
if
and
7 points.
ifs
Is
and
7 points
coots
gonna
and
make? Yeah.
well, at the time it wasn't 7 points. It was
Oh, was it more? Was this when it was more?
no, when Montoya was racing, it was only 10 points if he won, and then second place got 8.
Oh, so I guess a few points made a difference.
Yeah, it would have been 2 points. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, for this year, who are you looking at? I mean, I have a couple of predictions prepared this time.
It seems like Ferrari and Red Bull are really gonna go at it. I don't know who to go for in this one. It feels like whoever it's first is probably going to have the advantage,
Mhm.
because I think it's a hard track to try to overtake on.
Yeah.
You have to be really like you have to take a lot of risk if you want to overtake, which is exciting.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I feel like Verstappen, if he's ahead and defending, he's just gonna park the car well in the middle of the track.
Mhm.
And if he's
Mhm.
second, I feel like he's also gonna force whoever is ahead of him to like
Mm.
move out of the way. Like the guy's really good.
Okay. All right.
So
Okay.
I think whoever is first has the advantage.
Yeah.
But I do think Verstappen is probably the best driver right now out there. That's
Well,
proven.
I mean, obviously Verstappen, but I think what I'm predicting is it's gonna be a Ferrari 1-2 easy. This is easy money. Like I think they have the best car on the turns. This is not a very heavy engine heavy track, like I guess it is and kind of not, but I think if you can stick behind on like the turns, like especially like at the end, like on the before the start straight, you could make up a lot of places even if like the Red Bull happens to pass you somewhere. So I feel confident that like they're gonna be 1-2. My controversial take is that I think Sainz is gonna win. I think this is gonna be Sainz track to win. That's what I want to see.
Really? You want
And
to see that, but you think like it's gonna happen, or you just
uh,
want to see
I'm okay. So my reasoning for that, because I actually have a reason. It's like, um, and I'm a big fan of Charles Leclerc. Like I really like him, but I don't think he's as comfortable in Australia as he's in other tracks. And like well, everybody did Saudi Arabia together last year. He got to learn with everybody, but I feel like a lot of people have an advantage on him on Australia. They have more experience on it, and I just don't think he's that experienced. He's done it like once or twice. Um, so I think Sainz might have an advantage, and because just Charles is not that good when he's in a new track, in a track that he hasn't raced a lot before. He does take his time, so that's why I think that Sainz could get it. That being said, Charles is driving super fast and he understands the car better, so it could go either way. I don't know. What do you think?
okay. I don't think Science is gonna beat Leclerc this season at all, and I don't think this is the track. If anything, I think Science is better
Maybe not.
than Leclerc in Barcelona, for example. Um,
No, Charles is fast in Spain. I mean, because he's raced Spain since he was in Formula 2.
that's also
I
true.
don't know if they
That's
race
Science
Australia in
country.
Formula 2. He has home ground advantage, but not like experience in the track more than he does. I feel like
Anyway,
that's where Charles like lagged against Vettel, was when he was when he was in better tracks. Like for example, the first time that he hit Bahrain against Vettel, he just destroyed him because he just knew the track. But in tracks where he didn't know as well, like like I don't remember, like Canada, for example, and things like that, like or China, maybe not China. He just couldn't like hold on to it like as much as he could back in those other circuits. So yeah, so I don't know. That's just my prediction. My second controversial prediction that I have, Not controversial. It's not controversial, but I think the Mercs are back. I think they're coming back on this one.
Oh,
They're
I
gonna
think
be
Mercedes
strong.
is definitely gonna be back. They just need to fix the porpoising issue,
Hmm.
which I mean, every other team has solved it for the most part. So it's just a matter of time before Mercedes solve that, and then they should be back in the mix. Um,
I think it's gonna. I think this weekend specifically. Um, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Ferrari 1, 2, and the 3 is gonna be a Merc, but I haven't decided which one. I could see Georgie Boy getting there, but Hamilton is also been looking strong, and like his mentality is good. So I think between George, between I mean obviously it's between George and Hamilton, but I think I'm leaning slightly towards George.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next topic, or we keep going here.
Oh, I don't know. Well, are you expecting anything else from Australia? Any?
No,
Are you waiting to see something? It seems like I guess the excitement is all on me because it seems
it's
like you like
because I
Australia.
want to see the race, but like as you know, I'm not a hype man.
You're not good in the or you don't like making predictions.
Yeah, I just like the sport to come to me, and then
Mm,
after I see it, make assumptions as to what is going to happen. So all of my assumptions is based out of the races we've seen. So if Mercedes is still then they're still gonna be in the same place unless like a new thing happens, like unless they
no,
show some progress.
but I think the
Uh,
track matters. I think so. I
I
think
mean,
this
I do
track.
think the track matters. I think whoever is at the front in Australia is gonna win.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, duh, but like they will have an advantage.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, if you can overtake, then you should be good. But I like the
Yeah.
four DRS zones. It feels like we
Hmm.
should see some close racing,
Yeah, I think so too.
potentially some crazy accidents, uh, hitting the walls and stuff. So
Well, we'll see. Latifi's still out there. That man needs to be stopped. No, no,
oh man.
he actually doesn't crash that much. At least he hasn't done that in the past few seasons. Maybe on this one, I think he's
Yeah,
just had like
he's crushing on
Saudi
this one, but
Arabia
in
was
in
pretty
the past
bad.
seasons, it's also eh.
If there's a Williams that is going to crash, it's usually him. Like like George rarely crash except for that time that he grows John himself on what was that, Imola, when he was about to get points.
Ah,
Heartbreaker for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Um yeah.
All right.
But
Next topic.
yes.
Let's
So
do it.
so what was the next topic? Okay, coming back to Bahrain. I'll try to make it quick. I mean, if you want. We can talk a little bit
Yes,
about that
we can
race.
add the points. I don't know if we need to talk about the race specifically, but based on the points, I don't know if you want to do it at the end because it should be fairly quick. Uh,
Let's just get it out of the way. So hold on, let me just look up a few things here. Um, okay, so Ferrari. Let's go. It's Charles Leclerc and Sainz.
yes.
Charles Leclerc, obviously, he gets the legendary, the 5 out of 5. My boy's gonna get it
Okay.
because obviously, I
Signs.
mean, he destroyed on that. Sainz, um, I give him a 4. Did what he
No.
had to do in a Ferrari. He got third place, right?
Okay. He got second
No, no,
place
second place, because Verstappen
because
when I was.
Verstappen and Red Bull. Red Bull just
Yes,
didn't finish. Verstappen
Verstappen gets a 4.
4, same as Signs.
Could be 4.5. It could be 4, except he didn't. He did no 4.5 is fine. 4.5.
Okay.
I give him.
Perez.
Perez, what was he? He gets a
He was fourth.
yeah, he gets a 3. Like he did kind of his job, but nothing exciting there.
Hamilton.
Was this oh yeah, he got a podium. He did like what he could. He raced George. He wasn't fighting for a win, but I think he was solid. Um, even under like difficult circumstances, the difficult Mercedes, somewhere it's between 4 and 4.5. Trying to figure that out. We'll give him a 4. So it doesn't seem as if I'm just giving 4.5 willy nilly. Russell gets a 3.5. He did a good job. He remained there even though he fucked up that pole position, like that
Magnussen.
qualifying lap. Magnussen. Oh, so this one I think is a 5. I do think it's
You
a
think
5.
he did better than Verstappen?
Oh yeah, no, it's because he did as good as he could with the car. I think the only thing
Yeah.
that he had like 2 little mishaps where he like outbraked himself, but for the most part, I would describe his performance as like a 4.8. So I'll round that up to 5. We don't do anything that's not 4.5.
Schumacher.
He got spun on that one, so that wasn't good. So but it's not. It wasn't his fault, and he couldn't drive from there. I give him a 2.5.
Wait, you gave Magnussen a 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bottas.
Bottas did good. He raced fairly, and he did really good in qualifying. I'll give him a 4.5.
Bottas raced better than Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, that was a storyline of the weekend. That like Bottas is still outperforming out qualifies the Mercs. Was that Zhou? I think he ended up with points. Let's give him a 4. No, 3.5. I'm just being generous to the rookie.
Alonso.
He ended up on the points, right?
I believe so. You want to look up how they finished up?
Let me see. So yeah, that's the only thing I don't remember. I did not look for the race. Huh.
You know that like other people rate Perez's performance in Saudi Arabia like perfect. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I mean that's actually puzzling to me.
No, like
I mean, like I get feeling bad for the guy.
They gave him a perfect rating because his qualifying was crazy, and then he would have won the race if the safety car hadn't happened. And I'm like, if Verstappen would have, like, that's what we said last time. If Verstappen would have been in Perez's position,
yeah,
Verstappen would have fought for the win. So
yeah, no, for sure.
You gotta judge like based on like not because you like the guy or you want to see him perform and you think he got unlucky. It's like, hey, Verstappen in that same position would have fought for the win, I think.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And then not only that, he fell behind, couldn't pass a Ferrari. Like if you can pass a Ferrari, I mean, it's not like there was something wrong with his car. He literally just like came out of the pits behind the dude. Should have been able to. I mean, Verstappen did it on the faster Ferrari. You should at least be able to pass the slower Ferrari. But in any case, yeah, it looks like Fernando did get points. He got 2 points. So I give him a 3.5. No, I'll give him a 3.
Okay. Ocon.
Because he was very average on that one. Ocon got more points and he did well. He was kind of
Ocon outraced
silent.
Alonso.
Yeah. I'll give him a 3.5.
Okay. Gasly. Unfortunately, Gasly retired in this one.
Oh yeah, Gasly went up on fire. So let's give him a 2.5. Because he did qualify well, I think.
Tsunoda.
Where did he end up? He ended up. Oh, he did. He also ended up on the points. But he was lower than what's his name? Than Gasly most of the weekend. He was kind of struggling with me. I'm gonna give him a 3.
You gave him a better score than Gasly.
Yeah, but Gasly retired.
Stroll.
Stroll wasn't on the TV. Like Stroll and Hulkenberg did. I mean, there was just nothing impressive about it. Yeah, 2.5.
What about Hulkenberg?
Same. No, maybe even worse. A 2. He ended up 17th, and he was
ahead of Stroll in qualifying.
Yeah, he just kept losing places.
Yeah,
I'm afraid to say it, but I think the Hulk is getting a little old. To be just waking up
and then coming back. Yeah,
and coming back to races. Like last year, it was exciting. It was fun. Was it last year or the year before?
Or 2 years ago, yeah, I think 2 years back.
Whichever year it was fun seeing him, and you were like, ah, man, it seems like the guy still got it. And he's willing to jump in their car, like that. But now it's like you see him, and it's like, I don't know, he's more just like, yeah, I'm here again, you know. Like it's not no longer like a funny joke. It's just like, yeah, I am now a replacement driver. So yeah, unfortunate, but okay. Next one.
Albon.
Albon did pretty good. He was doing he. I mean, he didn't end up in the points, which is unfortunate, but he out qualified his teammate, and he was trying to take out his elbows. So I'm gonna give him a 3.5.
Latifi.
I think he's not good. I'll give him a 2, just like Hulkenberg. Like, below average, below his team, didn't out qualify anybody.
Ricardo.
Not atrocious. Didn't cause an accident or anything. Ricardo, I gotta do it to him, dude. I think I gotta give him the 2 as well. In fact, most of us were wondering, like, is this Ricciardo, the one that we know and love? People started questioning again, like, is he rusty? Is he still rusty? Yeah. It wasn't a good showing, but at least last week he seemed like he had a heartbeat. So,
Norris.
so yeah. Norris was okay. Again, he wasn't in the screen a lot. He had a chance, but not that good of a chance on that race. I'll give it a 2.5.
Okay. So with that, let's go into the top 10. So based on the score, the winner of the race in Bahrain, well, according to our Formula One, you have a two-way tie, and who gets first place? Leclerc,
Charles, of
course,
Charles. No, I mean, Charles had like the perfect weekend, like, pole position, fastest lap, winner of the race, and he was on top of practices as well. So it's like not every practice, but like a few of them. Magnussen just did great. He came back with a roar, and took a good spot. So for sure,
so Magnussen gets second place.
Correct.
Based on your scores. Now, for the last place on the podium here, you got a two-way tie between Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas.
Interesting. Is he something? Bottas. I think it's gotta be Bottas.
You're gonna give Bottas number 3 over Max Verstappen?
Yes.
You think Bottas raced better than Verstappen?
It's not that he raced better, it's that he did what he needed to do, and like Verstappen didn't finish the race. And it's hard to know if he had the pace. He did better than Perez, yes, but like, and he was a fun little duo with Leclerc, but he still lost out on it. It's a really good tie. I don't know. All right, fine. I'll give it to Verstappen. I'll put Bottas 4. Just not to anger the fans.
Okay, so 4th is Bottas. Now we go for 5th place. In 5th place, you have a two-way tie between Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, that's also a really close one. I'm gonna give it to Hamilton because he outraced his co-worker.
I also think Hamilton drove the car better than the best he could have. Like, I don't think he left anything in the car that the car couldn't have done. Like Sainz on the other side, like I don't think he drove everything out of that car.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree. I think Hamilton also outperformed the car. I mean, it's not like he could have gone any further, but he did drive pretty good.
Now for 7th place, because we have 6 already. So for 7th, you have a 4-way tie. So these are the 7, 8, 9, and 10th positions. Right? So you have Russell, Zhou, Ocon, and Albon.
Well, it's between. I think it's between Russell and Ocon. I don't remember. Oh, you know what? I can't give it to Ocon actually, because he crashed into Schumacher and like fucked his race, and it was out of
But
nowhere. He did get a
Ocon
penalty, yes.
got a 5-second penalty
And still
and
remain.
still beat Alonso.
That's actually pretty impressive, yeah. But was it because of the safety car fuckery?
I mean, yeah, I think just Ocon outraced Alonso in that race.
Huh. Let's give it to Russell. I'm gonna give it to Russell
I
anyways.
think Ocon is better than Russell in that one. Same reason as before. I think Ocon got everything out of the Alpine, and I don't think Russell got everything out of the Mercedes.
Okay. All right. I'll take it. I think that's a
So
good reasoning.
you have now Russell, Zhou, and Albon.
All right, let's put it Russell next.
Russell better than Albon?
No. Something doesn't add up here. I think no, I'm gonna give it to Albon and then Russell. Because Albon really was, I mean, this was his opening weekend and he did a way better opening weekend than Russell.
Yeah. And I think Zhou just gets 10th place. Still 1 point for the rookie on the, just like in the race, in our championship, he also gets a point.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
Okay, so we'll update those numbers and then add them up with the Saudi Arabia results.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's next in the program?
All right, complaints. And I don't know how much time do we got left.
I don't know, like with 20, maybe 30 minutes at most.
Okay.
I don't know if we're gonna go that long, but
no. I mean, probably not. I mean, just a few things. But you said you had complaints, so I'm kind of curious. Can start with you.
My complaints and inconsistencies with Formula One that I feel like they just set a precedent if they don't get solved. One of them is, for example, if we go back to Bahrain, there was a lap in Q1 that Perez, I believe, went out of bounds.
Yep.
And they clearly said that the white line defines the track limit. Mm-hmm. And any car that goes out of bounds, out of track limits, like their time will be deleted. Perez went out of bounds on Q1. I believe another driver also did, and they didn't.
They kept it hush hush. I remember.
Yeah, he kept it there, and then like he did the next lap, and the next lap was actually on time to qualify, but the first one shouldn't have counted.
Yeah, but like they should have just said that.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't count. So it's like, are you gonna count the people going out of line, or are you not gonna count it? Because
exactly,
like you said that it was going to be like the thing, and then it wasn't.
Yeah. No, I agree with that one. I totally forgot about it, but it is important to keep those rules consistent. It's important to especially because in every track they tell you like in these turns you cannot go out, you cannot do it. If you do, it's gonna get a penalty.
But so they said like the new race directors, in order to stop playing around like this tracks, this turns, this track, that one, this track turn, whatever. He just says like all the tracks, the white line defines the limit of the track, just so that we don't have any back and forth between the tracks, and this one you can, this one you can't. So he said it, and then like as soon as it happened in Bahrain, he's like, oh, let's just let it go, let it slide. Yeah. So that's annoying. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That's my first complaint in inconsistency.
And it's like it should be like intuitive, right? Like if you play any racing game, like when you go out of the boundaries, you lose your time. It's that simple. Like the racers should blame themselves, not the directors, for making the rules. It's important that those rules are in place there so that people don't take advantage of the track. Yep. So like as a racer, you know that when you fucked up, and like I don't think I've ever heard like a driver being like, no, no, they can't delete that great lap. It's like, no, they know when they went out and that they shouldn't do it.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is something that should be like strict. Like, yeah, if a driver goes out and going forward, like you get the penalty, you get the lap deleted. That's it. I mean,
Yep.
it's not even like a penalty or anything. Just like you have to redo it. Sorry, you have to waste more tires,
Yep.
or not qualify because you fucked up. It happens.
Yes.
Mhm.
Another complaint that I had, that's the only one that I have in Bahrain. But the other complaints now, if we go to Saudi Arabia, the safety car line uh, restart. Like Perez was behind Carlos Sainz.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like he needs to give the position back. I know that the new rules say that a driver, the race director will no longer tell a driver to give a position back, that the driver has to do it out of their own will.
Yeah.
Um, and if they don't do it within a certain period of time, and where the race directors determine that like there is a penalty, then they get a penalty for not giving it back. So I feel like, what is it? Can you overtake somebody under the safety car on a technicality out of the pit lane, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and keep the position up until the race resumes, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's
Like,
it just needs to be like quicker. Like the deliberation needs to happen like immediately. If you see
it's
like
like it's a lap, like, or two lap. I don't know. Give
before the
me,
fucking car ends, before the safety car ends,
yes,
just again, this is something that's so clear in the game, or like when you play any game, that like you can't like infringe upon it. That like even if like the car in front of you crashes, sometimes even if you pass them, like that's a penalty, which in the game is like a little too far. But like in real life, if there was an infringement and you can quickly rewind and see like what happened, then just make the fucking call. Just tell the drivers swap
yes,
places. It's not the end of the world, and they have to respect that. They just have to
yep,
do it. No, because nobody wants to get a 5 second penalty at the restart of a safety car, or alternatively like license points or something like that for like
yep,
an infringement like that. So yeah, I need something that like you can rewind the camera and like literally see it. So like drivers can't argue. It's like you were behind, you were ahead. That's how it was. That's how it should be. Stop trying to bend the rules. And it's always Red Bull pulling this shit, but but that's a conversation for another day.
yeah. So that's my second complaint. Get it fixed. You cannot let it pass on a technicality because
Yeah.
people will abuse that. Like
Mhm.
next, I just want Alonso to do it every single race
Yeah, exactly.
until like they're like, okay, we need to fix it. Oh, now you need to fix it because
Because
you need
Alonso
to
is
fix
doing it.
it from the beginning. Like it
Yeah.
shouldn't be a point for discussion. Just solve it.
Yeah.
That's on that one.
Mhm.
Next inconsistency: Leclerc slides on the car. What's up with that?
Yeah.
I know
See,
that these are all the same ones that we mentioned in the previous podcast, but just like to
mhm,
reiterate, I have an additional ones besides
yeah.
these ones.
No, yeah,
But yeah,
I guess we don't have to go too much into it. It is a serious thing, and we did think that you could get an advantage out of it. So for sure, there should be like they should be clear about if they infringe these rules, what is the usual punishment. Like what if like Hulkenberg did that? Like is he gonna be disqualified? I mean, Vettel was disqualified. Magnussen was disqualified for having like too much, like a tad bit of fuel too much in that one race, like in
oh
Germany
yeah,
or
and then
something.
Vettel was disqualified because he wasn't able to produce like enough fuel
Yeah. So like, why
that
is?
one
I mean,
time.
I guess that has to do more with the performance of the car, like it's slightly enhanced. But still, it would be nice to know, like what is the ruling, because it is
Yes.
also in that race like Leclerc kept going over the line of the pits,
Yeah,
and like
that's like my next inconsistency. You
yeah,
wanna
I
go
wasn't
to
I
it right
wasn't
now?
sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. No, I just
So
wasn't sure if you were supposed to do it. But go ahead.
yeah, no, next inconsistency. We'll talk about it. I was gonna save it for later, but we can talk
Mhm.
about it right now. Uh, During the main straight, Leclerc kept putting all four wheels on the on like inside of the pit lane, and the
Yeah.
rules clearly say that the drivers cannot do that. Not even one wheel, they can't do it. And last year, Yuki Tsunoda in Austria got 2 5-second penalties for doing that. I don't know
Hmm.
if you remember that. Like,
No, I don't remember that.
it was like I think his
What
first
race?
race of the season,
Okay.
Austria.
Austria. Okay.
Yeah, and then like he kept driving. No, not the first race. I guess second because Austria wasn't first. I think Bahrain was first. Um,
Okay.
and then when they went to
I do
Austria,
remember that now. I do remember that like he did like they keep pinging him for that.
yep. And then he got 2 5-second penalties for no. It wasn't the entire car. It was like a couple of tires over this the pit lane entry, and he
Yeah.
got 2 5-second penalties. Leclerc did it multiple times,
Hmm.
and it was clear if you see Leclerc's on board,
Yeah.
the dude is pretty much going into the pits. So there, and he can't do that. It's against the rules.
Yeah.
So I know that people may complain like, "Oh, Verstappen just wants to," and I'm like, "Bro, like the guy is breaking the rules in front of you. Like you, like something needs to
You at least
happen."
you at least call it out because
Yeah,
at worst it's like nothing happens, but at best it's like he gets a penalty or like a warning.
yep. He should
Uh,
have gotten a penalty. Like
uh,
I am a Leclerc fan, but if the
yeah,
guy
me
is
too.
breaking the rules, penalize him.
Exactly.
I want the penalty. I don't give me a fake sport. Don't create
Yeah.
entertainment just because you want Leclerc and Verstappen to fight it out, and then it's like, well, if we penalize Leclerc, we're gonna go into this media thing. It's like, dude, if you penalize Leclerc because he's cheating, like, well, not maybe not on purpose. If he's
Yeah.
clearly breaking the rules,
Like give him a warning,
then that's
and
the
warnings do
rules.
exist.
That's the rules.
Warnings do exist. You can get a black and white flag and tell you like, don't fucking do that again. Like we're like you've done it a couple of times. Stop doing it, and then you know that you're not
It
supposed
shouldn't
to do
be
it
a
again.
couple of times. It's
It should
clear.
be like once, yes, once or maybe twice. Like if they think
You
that you
can
did it
say
by
once or maybe twice. I'm just saying the rules say you're not allowed to do that, not even one tire. And
Mhm.
last year, the precedent was there. Yuki did it. He got 2 5-second penalties. Now
Yeah,
Leclerc is doing it and he's fighting for the victory with Verstappen. It's like, oh, no penalty because it's exciting, you know?
yeah, no, exactly, yeah. I mean I think a penalty, a 5 second penalty for doing that will be a lot. But a warning should be fair. At least say something, right?
I don't think
Uh,
there should be a warning. Like, if you get a warning, every driver from now on, at least once during the race, they're just gonna do it.
they're just gonna do it. Yeah, it's possible. But if you don't
They're just
punish
gonna be like,
that,
"Oh, if I do it now, it's okay. I get a warning, but I'm good." It's like,
but if you don't punish that, then like drivers are just gonna start doing it. They're just not gonna start caring until like somebody else gets a penalty, until Fernando
I feel
gets a
like they're
penalty.
gonna punish it. They just don't punish it if it's the battle for the lead
If
because
it's
it's
a yeah,
exciting. Yeah.
yeah,
So
which
it's
is
still
not,
sort of a fake sport when it comes to. Oh, obviously it's not a fake sport, but it's like
it's
manufacturer entertainment.
yeah.
Like, we know the rules, we know that the guy is breaking them. I know it's exciting to watch Leclerc and Verstappen fight for the lead, but if one of them breaks the rules, penalize them. It's their fault.
They
It's
know this also. Like
yeah,
like if somebody comes on the radio and says like stop going over the pit lane, he's gonna be like, all right, I'll stop going over the pit lane. That's all. Like even if he's one of his engineers or something. But like I don't know, nothing happened. So
yeah. So
yeah, for sure. It's I think I complain about that too.
the next one is how much do you need to decrease the speed on their double yellow flags?
Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of always been like very subjective, very in the gray area of things, you
Yeah,
know.
it's a very very gray area where there's as well, we don't see the telemetry or anything like that when it happens,
Yeah.
but you cannot have 3 or 4 drivers under a yellow flag set their fastest laps of the race and none of them get a penalty.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? All the 4 drivers like get like their fastest laps. Is their fastest lap in the entire race,
Yeah.
and under yellow flag conditions. How, like, tell me, how does that work?
It's just
Like,
I mean, it's just very unsafe, really. I mean, like it comes down to that. Like it's not like they're getting like a fair advantage or a disadvantage or something like that, but it's like, I mean, there's a guy sitting in the fucking racetrack, right? Like
Yeah.
he needs to get out of the car, and somebody could crash into him. It's gonna take one time when like somebody crashes into somebody who's just parking before they're like, okay, maybe we should fucking
We
take this
should have
seriously.
fucking, yeah.
Yeah, and they should, and because it is kind of dangerous. It's a dangerous like occasion where like somebody's sitting, like a human being is standing still on a fucking racetrack. So so no, I think they should make a, I give everybody like across the board 5 second penalties.
Yeah, so that's what they do in Formula 2. Like in Formula 2, they penalize like almost like 70-80% of the grid that like
Mhm.
broke the yellow flag
Yeah.
rules. And I'm like, perfect. I know that it may seem like a shit show. It's like, oh, this is Formula 1. And I'm like, just stop worrying about how it looks for the sport. It looks
Yeah.
shit on the sport if the rules just change every race.
Yes.
Like it's
Mhm.
just much worse. I want to see like these are the rules. We all know the rules. Just decrease the speed. If they like, I don't know if like, oh, they were full throttle and then for a second they went like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, they decrease the speed, but like there should be something. And it's double waved yellows as well. Like
Yeah.
double waved. You can like it's not like a single yellow flag.
Yeah.
It's double waved yellows, and people are still setting their fastest
The
laps.
fastest laps. Yeah. That
So
doesn't. It, it cannot be like that. That that is. Yeah. That is not good.
yeah, so that's like a thing that just penalize everybody. I'm not gonna look bad on Formula, like look bad at Formula One just because you penalized everybody that broke the rules. Everybody broke the fucking rules.
Yes. And like, again, the rule is not there to prevent drivers from getting an advantage. The rule is there to protect the driver that's standing on the racetrack. So you have to enforce it. I mean, you just have to. It's like you could literally endanger somebody's life. There's a reason why it wasn't like a single yellow, it was a double yellow. They're more important, right? They're more. It's like a, I don't know. It's like a considerably dangerous circumstance. So, yeah.
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 The other one is a complaint, but this is against Lance Stroll. Uh, it's like if you see there's a I think Brazil last year, there's a move that I don't know who's overtaking Lance Stroll. And I think it's Ocon.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, and then Lance Stroll just turns in. It's like a launch from very far back, similar to Albon. And it was a
Hmm.
clean pass. But because Ocon didn't crash into Stroll, or I don't know if it was Ocon, then
Hmm.
nothing happened. But Stroll just doesn't look at his fucking rear view mirrors. I was looking at the crash with Albon. It is identical to what happened in Brazil.
Hmm.
Uh,
I'll
and
look it. I'll
then
look it up afterwards.
Albon just like is overtaking Stroll, but Stroll just turns in. And I'm like, I understand, and like it's like dangerous for the other driver. Like I am gonna overtake you, but this guy doesn't feel like I'm close enough, so he turns in on me, and then I get the penalty when like he should see me in the mirrors. Um,
Yeah.
like this happened to I think to Kimi once, that he turned in and then like he didn't see at the time it was Danny Kvyat, that he just fucking went for it and then they took each other out. So it's like but at the time maybe it was the torpedo's fault because he's a torpedo, but whatever.
Sure.
Uh,
Mhm.
but it's like you
Mhm.
need to be aware that there's a driver coming behind you,
Yeah.
that they're on fresh tires, that they are faster than you with DRS. You cannot just turn in
Yeah.
like as if they
No.
weren't there. And
I.
it's like I'm turning in and oh they crashed onto me and then they get a penalty. It's like dude, you caused the crash, but because it seems like the guy came from behind, like so
Well,
it's
I
just
don't
a
know.
technicality, I think.
Because I always felt, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be at least some clarity on the rules for that, because I've always felt that like if the car that has the turn has his nose just slightly ahead, this is my been my understanding. I have always kind of treated it that like he doesn't have to yield at all. That like he can just take the turn like however he's supposed to. That being said, I think that rule is better applied when like the lead driver is on the inside as opposed to the outside. Because on the inside, it's very clear that like they can just make the turn and like it's gonna be fine. But when
Mhm.
they're in the outside, if a driver is passing you, you can just like crash onto them. Like you have to respect a little bit of space. You can't just drive them off the track if they can't do anything but brake. If they're past their braking zone. So
Yeah. Did on Monza last year when Verstappen and Hamilton crashed, did Verstappen get a penalty for the next race? I think he did.
I think he did, yes.
Yeah.
It was like a three grid place or something like that, which wasn't it was nothing essentially. Um, but yeah, I mean I do think it was his fault, 100%. No, not his fault. He like deliberately took Hamilton out on that occasion. Where like he was never ahead, never even close to being ahead or fighting for the turn, and he literally just like kept going straight into Hamilton. Like I understand that he didn't want to give the place away, that he didn't want to leave his foot because he's a champion, a competitor, a true competitor, or whatever the fuck you want to say. But that's not true. He literally just like didn't stop his car and just went into Hamilton. Like it was I think a race ban was in order. And I'm surprised they didn't give it out because it was a very dirty maneuver. Like evidently dirty. That like
Mhm.
if he didn't pass Hamilton at that point, there was no way that he was gonna catch Hamilton, and Hamilton would have just gotten more points, and ultimately the championship if we believe in something like that.
Yeah.
So no, I think there's some amount of leniency, but if you're nowhere, like if most of the body of your car is not past of the other car, or
I
like
think
if
it's like
if
if one like your front tire needs to be ahead of the other car's front tire.
um then I mean I don't know. There is something to say. There's also something to say if it's in the inside as opposed to the outside of the cars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a need that there should be more clarity in that one. And at least I like to hear the source explanation about the penalty because they gave the penalty to Albon at the end of the
To
day.
Albon, yes, for
Triggered
causing a
penalty.
collision. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they gave him points on the license as well. So yeah, those were my inconsistencies. Just like we cannot be two races into the season, and then like after we went from last year's season, which was a shit show, to like now it feels like the race directors are still scared or of like, oh, this is so exciting if we see Leclerc and Verstappen fight for the lead. If we penalize them, everybody's gonna like go like, oh, you are in favor of Verstappen. Oh, you're in favor of Leclerc. Oh, it's like, bro, you're the race director. You're not in favor of anybody. You just want to make sure that they all obey the rules. Uh,
They should
and
make
if you don't have the fucking guts, the fucking whatever you want to call it, to
cojones.
the yeah, you just need to be brave. Like the position is for you to enforce the rules, and if you're not brave enough to fucking do it, then
Hmm.
the position shouldn't be given to you. And this time we have two race directors. I don't
Yeah,
know if two heads are better than one. Maybe one of them is like, oh no, let it happen, and the other one's no, maybe we
maybe
should, nah, maybe let it, maybe. I don't even know what's going on. Like, just
they should make Juan Pablo the race director.
yeah,
Because it's funny. I think he complained about that once that like he was like, I'm so surprised that they haven't asked me to be a steward clerk or what do you call this? A steward, just a
yeah,
steward
Stuart, yeah.
on the Formula One. I'm like, actually, yeah, I don't see why not. He was a racer. He probably knows better than most people what is fair and not fair racing. I mean, he had to fucking race against Schumacher, who is infamously dirty. I mean,
Yeah.
I was actually watching this today when Schumacher like took out Damon Hill.
Oh yeah,
Uh
you saw it, right? He
yeah.
fucking turned into the guy.
He I don't know what happened. I didn't see the entire thing, but like before he's like spun. He was like spun in the middle of the track and he came
Oh
back
yeah.
in
So Schumacher hit the wall. Like he
on his own
missed the
accord.
turn on his own. Yeah, it was his own mistake. Then when he
Yes.
came onto the track, he came like all fucking dancing.
Came
Uh,
dancing and then literally just fucking turned into the guy. He was like, I'm not gonna let him go through.
yeah, flipped
I,
his
I,
car, and then
that's
like
a
Damon
that's
Hill
a
like
race
yeah.
disqualification. That's what that is. I don't know.
No,
That's a
he won the world championship
he
like
won the
that.
world championship by doing that. And people say that he's the goat. I mean, I think there's no question that like Hamilton is the goat. And I mean, and the guy honestly should have
Yeah.
8 championships at the FIA. Not fuck them.
Yeah. Do you have another topic of conversation? If you don't, I have one that I wanna throw into you.
Well, I did have one. Um,
What was?
well, it's in terms of complaints, I guess, because
Okay,
since you
let's. If it's
you
complaints, we can keep going.
you like talking about complaints. I have complaints. I guess the complaint that we've always had, which is a big one, and I think something that should seriously be changing Formula One. And it's gonna sound a little bit ironic, knowing that we just did our rankings, but the point system,
Yes.
the point system. That I mean, it's atrocious, an atrocious, an abomination to mathematics, or to like true competition. Like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that
Yeah,
like
we've talked about this before.
yeah.
What is the reason that the first driver gets 25? What is the reasoning that you gave the top 10 drivers these points? Is it because it sounds cool? Oh, the top 10. It's like,
Right.
why? Like, and
Yeah.
also, what determined the number 25 points for a victory and 18 for second place? Like, these numbers came out of like somebody like, oh yeah, that looks cool. There,
And
I don't think
more
there's a mathematic reason as to
right.
why it should be like this.
Exactly. I think what they thought is that they have to give the winner more points or something in order to make it more glorious. But the thing is that like it really having 7 points between the first and the second driver really skews the championship. It really does towards the winner of races. Like it really like puts him way ahead to the point where it's like nearly impossible to catch. Like I mean, there's been times where like, especially, I mean, throughout all these years, except for last year, every single year is kind of like Hamilton's just running away with it, or whoever is just running away with it,
Mhm.
because and there's no excitement left at the end of the season because it there's such a disparity between what you win. But aside from that, there's also no mathematical reason or any reason that like it should be 7 points, and then the from the space from the second to third is like 3 points.
Yeah.
It's kind of like why? And then anywhere from like you said, like from 11 down, they don't get any points. And it's kind of like what are they racing for? Like they're racing to like be 11th. Or like 3 or 4 teams are always stuck like racing for 11th, and it's like it honestly would be more exciting if everybody was getting some points, or like
Yep.
if you finish ahead of somebody, you get a little more points. Like
Yes.
because
It
go on, go
rewards
on.
like I never understood why, if you are outside of the points, why you should finish the race. Why
Mhm.
do the teams finish the race if
Yes.
they know they're gonna end outside of the points? They could come into the pits and retire the car and save the engine for like the next races. It's like we're not gonna compete here for anything. I don't know if it's in their contracts that like you should race until the end, like because that's the spirit of the rules. And I'm like, the spirit of the rules is not that, because you clearly are not giving points for like those people
Yeah.
outside of the top 10. Also, I like to see, for example, yeah, you can give extra points. I'm all for extra points, but also make, I feel like everybody that races should get a point.
Yeah.
Like if you have 20 cars, all 20 cars should get a point. If you have 25 cars, all 25 cars should get a point, right? Like right now, we're used to the 20 cars. At some point, when we first started watching Formula One, there were only 16, and then people like they kept adding it. So like at the time, it was like only the top six get points, and I'm like, I don't know why just the top six get points. And then they added it to like, oh, only the top
Yeah.
eight, because now we have 18 cars, and then now it's like 20 cars, so maybe now it's the top 10. But like, what if we add 22? Is gonna be top 11? Like, are we always gonna go in? I don't understand what what is going on.
Exactly. and like the system is also like they added like a fastest lap point, and it's kind of like
I'm okay with like having a fastest lap point, but for everybody. It could be anybody in the race. Or like
yeah,
the
it's
person
also
that
like
gets pole position.
well no, you know what, I'm not necessarily in favor of it. I'm like like what, like in your head, in like the formula or like the FIA head, why is 1 point like equivalent like for a fastest, right? Like can you prove this to me? Like what is your reasoning why this should be worth 1 extra point? And it's like it's like a 1/25th of a victory. Why? Or is the same position that like number 10 gets, but why? So why is 1 point, why is it not 3 points, why is it not 6 points? Like
Yes, where does the number come from? Besides
exactly.
of you just making it up and
just
like
just just
fabricating it out
oh
of
here,
thin
let
air.
me take out a little, it's a one, it came out as a one, guys. And it's like, but why? Like what makes you, give me the fucking reasoning behind it. Maybe they
Yeah.
were just testing it out, maybe they're still testing it out, but it's like it doesn't make it's like when you randomly give points for like the quality, the spring qualifier, like only top three get points, and it's kind of like, but
Why? Like what
why?
determined that? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
number
why three
one gets three
points?
points, then the number two gets two, and then number three gets one. And I'm like,
This
where
is like
did
fuckery with
these
the points.
figures come from? Like,
Yeah,
there is no reasoning or like there's no math behind it that explains it.
yeah,
I like just if everybody just gets, if there's 25 cars, number one gets 25 points, and then
yeah.
everybody just gets 1 point less
And everybody
because
just
they're,
gets 1 point.
yeah.
Correct.
I know that it doesn't reward the winning or the race, but it does. He gets one more point
You
than
get one
whoever
point.
ended before him. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you want the prestige and everything. That's why I'm saying, like, if you want to give him the prestige or all of that, maybe he should have gotten fastest lap of the race.
Mhm.
Maybe
I
if he
would
got pole position, he could have gotten like an extra point for that. You know, like that way, if like they get fastest lap, pole position, and winner of the race, is like you got 3 extra points than the second place. You know, you got the one for winning, you got the one for the fastest lap, and you got one for the pole position. Okay, I can see like, okay, that feels good. It's not like this seven out of nowhere.
listen. See, this will be my reason. I would suggest a system where like the top prize gets 3 points more than the second place, and I'll tell you why. Because if the second place gets pole position, they can get one more, and then if they get the fastest of the race, they can get one more. But they're always gonna be behind the first place. That will be my reasoning. And then like every other point, you can do like 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, 2 points, and then at some point 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and now
Yeah.
like difference. And I think I'll be totally okay with that. And I will feel as a viewer that like, okay, this totally makes sense. And then it would even incentivize maybe you can make the case that like the one for the fastest lap cannot be past the top 10, because then you have like fucking, I don't know, you have Gasly pitting pitting on like the last lap trying to take that away. So maybe, and like you have like 16 drivers trying to do that on the last lap or something. So maybe that doesn't make sense. But something where like it's consistent, it doesn't feel like that it like is so skewed towards like the top teams, that, and where it feels like everybody is racing for a reason, and like everybody's staying in the race for a
Yes.
reason, right? Like you can always get that extra point, you can always get a little bit better than your opponents if you just keep trying hard enough. And it
Yeah.
makes like
And
11th
it also
and 12th
rewards
place more.
consistency. It also
Yes,
rewards consistency.
yes.
You want cars to race from beginning to end as much as they can. And like, if a car breaks down, it will matter a lot, you know?
Exactly.
But if also, if you're constantly on second place, second place, second place, and then like the first place, like, like you can have people that just win all the races, but then everything else they just get fourth,
Mhm.
fifth, sixth. And like with the current system, it's okay because it's so skewed towards the number one guy, that
Yeah.
like if he wins multiple races, like he can like afford to go like in other races, not score as
I mean,
well.
there's been times where like Hamilton like could just retire out of like two or three races and he'll still be on the top of the championship. Like,
Yep.
so I mean that shouldn't happen.
Or like if it
Honestly, it's
happens, it should be like on merit, but it's happening because of like some. There's no mathematical reason of it.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
it's just it makes it, I don't know, it makes watching the like last few spots so uninteresting, because at this point it's like, well, I know that like fucking Hulkenberg and Stroll are not gonna get any points. I'm not committed to that. I'm just like, okay, you look at the top 10 and you're like, on whatever else happened. Like I don't even look
I
at
don't
those
care.
drivers.
Yeah,
Right. Whereas if you had a like points for everybody, it would be like, okay, I mean, maybe not points for the last guy. You know, fuck that guy. But everybody else could get a few points. Uh I guess the issue would be like retirements could be
yeah.
very,
Maybe
very
not for the
costly.
last guy. If you're last, you shouldn't score anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And it's
if
fine.
if you're last every single race, you shouldn't score anything. Like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
exactly. And like I could see like the argument being that like maybe like a race, missing out on a race could be very bad. Like could be like could cost you a lot of points. I think that could be an argument for it. But
But then they
but then
puts the pressure on the teams.
yeah,
Like, you will see people driving more fair because they're gonna be like, if we take each other out, like, it's a
the
big loss
third
of
place
points.
gets
Yeah,
the championship. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So you cannot like just, I'm gonna win a couple of races, and if I like take myself out, it's like, okay, I can afford to do that. It's like, no, you shouldn't be able to fucking just take each other out.
yeah.
You should like be as consistent as you can and be as fair of a driver as you can. And if you're gonna take yourself out, it's like it's on you, and you're the one losing the championship for that.
Yeah. No,
So yeah,
and it will just I mean at least add a little bit more reasoning as to why you have those points in between, you know, like those steps, because I mean at the moment it's just like nothing makes sense. I mean, I don't know, like there's random spacing between the spots. First gets like 7 more points than second. It's just a lot. I mean, it really is a lot, and with each victory it just like it gets so much bigger. uh but it just feels like it really is centered towards like the best teams, you know. It always feels like the best team is gonna
yeah,
or like the best team is just gonna pull so far ahead that nothing's gonna matter. But anyways,
yeah. That's that
yeah.
right. I have one last topic of conversation for you, and this is gonna be impromptu. You ready?
All right.
And I ask you because you are the master predictor over here,
I don't know if
right?
master, but I have a good streak.
So I am gonna go through the entire list of drivers currently in Formula One,
Oh shit. Okay.
and you're gonna predict in their whole career how many world championships they're going to get.
Oh, okay. I mean, this is not that hard, but we'll go for it.
Okay, we can go from worst to best if you want,
Sure.
or like from like, anyway, bottom of the table.
Sure.
Latifi,
Sure. Easy.
Albon,
I don't know. I'm gonna say he's gonna fight for one, but I don't think he's gonna get to win.
0. Tsunoda,
Zero.
Gasly,
Same. I think. You know. I think eventually he'll get to be like a Barrichello maybe, or a Perez, but I don't, or a Bottas, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't know if he's quite gonna get there.
okay, Valtteri,
Oh, zero. My guy's out. He's out of the mercs. He's out of the competition.
Zhou,
Zero.
Vettel,
Not any more than he has.
so just 4.
So just four.
Stroll,
Zero.
Ricardo,
It's just zero. It's unfortunate. He's gonna be a Montoya. I'm gonna say it. He's gonna be a legend of the sport that never got to win the championship.
Norris,
Let's go back to Norris. I wanna hear myself saying other things first.
Ocon,
Uh, Zero. No,
Alonso.
no, he's gonna. Well, no, not anymore than he has.
So 2.
Two,
Schumacher.
zero.
Magnussen.
Magnussen is interesting because, well, I honestly don't think he's world championship potential, but I think if he remains strong this year, he could find like a good contract for next year in like a good team, like a fast team, maybe, and then maybe he could pull something. Maybe I could even see him go to McLaren, if they decide not to
And
retain
replace
Ricardo.
Ricardo. Ooh,
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
that'd be interesting. Early prediction for everybody. You heard it here first. Uh, but no, I think I don't think he's gonna be able to win one. If especially if he gets to going against Norris. So
Okay. Russell.
let's come back to this one too. Just put. I'm putting them all in a group. All the young guys.
Hamilton.
Hamilton is it's difficult because it is Hamilton, and this could be a good championship for him. Like he's still in the championship, but I'm gonna say he's not gonna win another one.
So 7. Sainz.
I'm gonna say at most one. At most one.
Sad. I don't think he deserves one, but
I think he could like try to like Felipe Massa one, or like Kimi Raikkonen one,
Kimi
or like,
Raikkonen one, where
yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
where
so
like,
consistent, and then like, oh,
and then
they
some like
took
the
each other
two
out.
top two crash and like he's there. I think that could happen to Sainz.
Leclerc.
Welcome back to Leclerc.
Perez.
Zero.
Verstappen.
And then Verstappen. All right. So which ones we took out? We took out Verstappen, Leclerc, Russell, and Norris, and who
That's
else?
it.
That's it.
Yeah. In their
It's
entire career, how many championships
it's
are
hard. It's
each
hard to
going to get?
say. It's hard to say, but depending.
Okay. Do you think that they will at least all win one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'll say that the least likely to win one is Norris,
I
but
think
I
so. Yeah.
think I think he's got at least one. I think he's gonna get one, maybe two. So I'll put him in a range of 1 to 2 championships.
Okay.
Russell, I could. He's in a Mercedes. If the Mercedes can come back this year with the help of Hamilton, when Hamilton retires, is fair game for Russell, and I could see anywhere from 2 to 4, 2 to 4 championship. Yeah,
Actually, I feel like the Mercedes golden era is sort of over, right? Like it's a
Could be.
generation thing. Like you have like the employees, the bosses, and everybody leading the team. You had Niki Lauda,
yeah,
you had Hamilton at its peak. You had
Mhm.
like all of these people just driving to win championships, and then as you win the championship, you attract more people, and as you win more championships, you attract more people, and then like
Yeah.
as you are become like the best of the best. Red Bull did like a very aggressive campaign to like, if you are like an employee of Mercedes and you come to Red Bull, like we'll pay you way more. Whatever your salary is, we'll like pay you more. And they poached a lot of people from Mercedes. And so Mercedes, like eventually people are like, yeah, we don't like this team anymore for culture, or it's not longer gonna be at the top. Like we had a good run, now I can go elsewhere. So I
Yeah.
don't know if Mercedes could still have. I think right now they could still have it in them to fight for the championship. But if they don't get it in the next like 2 years, it's probably like
What I'll say is that I think the top 5 is like normalizing, where like the top teams are coming down a little bit and like some are still climbing. I think McLaren's is gonna try to get in there, like too. Like they might get there maybe next year, maybe the year after, maybe even this year. Mercedes, yes, I think they're gonna decline a little bit, but I also don't think the Red Bulls are gonna do that much more. I think
Yeah.
Ferrari, Red Bull, and Mercedes are gonna be pretty equal, and it's gonna depend a lot on the drivers
Yep. There's
that they
actually
have.
a new rule this year that is introduced that is like an anti-cheating or anti an advantage rule. I don't know
Mhm.
if you know about it, but
Which one?
at the beginning of each weekend before practice one, uh, every new update that goes onto the cars needs to be presented to all the teams.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So like, let's say that Mercedes comes out with like whatever new update for solving the porpoising issue.
Yeah.
Before practice one, any team that is changing their car from the previous race to this one needs to present their car in front of the pit lane for 1 hour, and anybody can come look at it. It has to show exactly what it is that you added to the car, and everybody can look at it. There's no hiding anything anymore.
That's really cool, actually,
Yeah. And
because it
then
keeps it keeps a lot of the cars the same, which is what you want. You don't want cars to get really far ahead. So
yeah,
yeah.
so people can now see which like what people are adding onto the cars. You have 1 hour to inspect the cars and whatever. I don't know if you can touch them. I think you can just like look at them.
Mhm.
But like if by by the end of that hour you like presented your stuff, you're not allowed to compete that entire weekend by adding something new. Like
Nice.
that's it. That's what you presented. So
That's good.
that's a new rule for this year, which I think it will help out Formula One overall, uh, like make the team like more competitive,
Yes. So yes. Well,
make the
anyways,
sport more competitive.
So coming back to the question,
Yeah,
as to, I do since I think that the teams are gonna converge, and I think like they're gonna be all closer together. I feel like there's more chances for spreading the wealth a little bit more. I say, well, where was I? I was in George, right? Two to
yeah.
four.
Georgia is at 2 to 4 championships,
I said
and you have
Lando one to
Verstappen and
two.
Leclerc.
So I think Charles, I see, and it depends because we haven't seen him in a very competitive setting like Formula One World Championship setting. I'm gonna say three championships. I think he can win. I think he can win three. And for Verstappen, I'm also gonna say three more championships. I don't necessarily
Three
think he
more,
does. Yes, I don't. I
so a
don't.
total of four.
Yes, I don't necessarily think he deserves the first one, but I think
Actually,
he's just as good as Leclerc.
I I think that Verstappen. Well, you can put it however you want. Like I think Verstappen drove better than Hamilton
Like he
last
deserved
year.
it, but he didn't have the
Last
better
year
car.
overall, yeah.
Mhm.
I think last year over the entire season, Verstappen drove better than Hamilton, more consistent. If I think if we would go by, oh well, if he would have ended all the races, same as Hamilton would have ended all the races, and we would have gone by our scoring point system stuff, I think Verstappen would have won it. But I think
Possible,
also
possible.
there were two races where Verstappen took himself out, like in Silverstone and then in Monza. Um, that I'm like maybe on our scoring system that is a big penalty, which I think
Mm.
is it gives a lot to Verstappen because, for example, I think this year when he's fighting Leclerc, I think he's actually being a little bit more gentle. I
Yeah.
don't know if he's like learning from like last year. It's like if I take myself out, those are a lot of points. Like if he would have just let Hamilton pass in Silverstone, you know,
Oh
he
yeah.
would have
Yeah.
been world champion earlier.
Or
If
just give
he
him more
wouldn't,
space. It wasn't even
yeah,
clear that Hamilton was gonna pass him there.
yeah, just give him more space.
More
Like
space. Just be careful.
doesn't mean that he's gonna pass you, but yeah,
And then
you're just
you
more careful. And in Monza, if you just let Hamilton go by, like these are critical points that you would have won the championship earlier
Mhm.
if you would have just been more level-headed.
Yep.
And I think I don't know if Verstappen this year, like if some of the times that he's fighting with Leclerc is a little bit, a little bit better.
Mhm.
He's, you know,
I think he I think it's too early to say.
yeah,
I want to say yes, of course. Like I saw him racing in Bahrain and in Saudi Arabia, and he looked pretty calm. He looked like he was under control, and like he wasn't like trying to drive the other guy.
Yeah,
I think Verstappen particularly dislikes Hamilton. I'm not really sure why.
yeah.
It could be a Netherlands thing. But I really don't think I don't think it's a he likes him very much. Whereas Leclerc, I think he's driving more fairly, and he's just trying to say, within the good graces of everybody, and like to also to take the championship really slow, see where it goes before he starts like diving everybody. But I'm afraid that once we get to the end of the year, that like he's just gonna revert back to just like doing his dirty shit, like he did. Like as soon as Silverstone happened last year, middle of the season, only two guys competing for the championship. He just started like going dirty and like losing his cool. You could see that he was angry all the time. You could see like he was really stressed all the time, and he kept saying like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this doesn't affect me," and it obviously did affect him. It obviously he was acting very aggressive, and like there were many points in the interviews that you could see like he was either he knew that like he was losing the championship or that he could lose the championship.
Yeah, have
And
you seen the comedian that like makes fun of Verstappen? Like,
oh yeah, the
yeah,
impressionist.
the impression this guy is like, hey Max, so we saw like you were a little bit angry. I wasn't angry.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not angry. I think the most important thing for me to do is to not be angry, and I'm not. And it really makes me upset that you keep saying that I'm angry. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So yeah. So I think he's got. I mean, he's the best racer. He's the best driver. Uh, at the moment, like if you were to all race in the same car, he'd probably win, or Leclerc could win. Maybe you know what? Actually, fun exercise. I think if you put all the drivers in the same car, you could probably you could probably make an argument that Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, and Norris and Russell are probably all in that same category.
yeah,
Uh, so it's like it's give and take. It depends. But under the current circumstances, I think Verstappen probably's got three more at least. I think I'm hoping for Charles Leclerc to have at least three. That'll be pretty great. Um, I'm hoping that Hamilton can get one more, but I just don't know how many more racing years he has. I mean, Alonso's proving that you can stay in the sport for a long time, and as long as you're consistent,
yeah.
you
But
can
like
still win races. You can still
how
do stuff.
competitive? Like, are you gonna be in your
Exactly.
prime? Are you gonna be better than like the
The like
rookies
the
that are
young
also
guys,
fast? Yeah,
like the Russells of the world,
yeah.
or like the yeah.
Like the people with like just better reflexes, and it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's like you're getting old.
You're just
Like
getting
your
old,
reflexes
and
are
you're
just gonna
yeah
go down.
yeah you're gonna get passed every now and then and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, mid 30s is still solid enough. Late to mid 30s. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, if he can drive consistently, I just don't know. I feel like the young guys have so much more stamina too. Like at the end of the season, where you're like supposed to carry it with Bottas, it was easy because Bottas was like essentially the same age, and he was like gonna fight for more all of a sudden. But the young guys, if they see like Hamilton is just driving a little bit slower and stuff, they're gonna be like, "This is my chance. Like I can try and push a little more," and like they
Yep.
might out stamina him. So I don't know. It's hard to say. If anything, he has 1 or 2 more years to try.
Yeah, I
Like
mean Hamilton has a contract until next year,
yeah.
so
So like
we can see.
we'll see what he can manage. I do think the age of the new kids is coming. The age of
Yeah.
Verstappen,
Yep.
Leclerc, and Russell,
I think it's pretty
and
much
possibly
here.
Norris.
It's like,
Hmm.
uh, but I think Hamilton is the one still hanging on,
Yeah,
and Alonso.
and deservedly so. I mean, Lewis Hamilton is a legend of the fucking sport. I mean, the guy is the best driver of all time. No
He's like the
questions
Tom
asked.
Brady.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you look at every single record possible to break, and he's broken it. He drives consistently. He's good at every single part of the sport, from like the building of the car to like the getting the qualifications, the pole positions, to racing consistently well, to making the passes when it matters, to making the moves, to making the comebacks. The guy does it all. I mean, the guy is a 10 out of 10. Like he was born to drive cars. Like few people in the world um are as gifted as this guy is in anything, but like especially at driving, he's just incredibly gifted. So
like for that long of a
for
time.
for for very long, and arguably he should have won even more championships. You know,
Yeah,
like somewhat early in his
he
career.
should have won his rookie
Yeah,
year.
yes.
The year that Rosberg won, I think it was just luck that
Hmm.
Rosberg won it because
Yeah.
Hamilton was quite unlucky on reliability that year. Um,
So
last year it was
and of course, yeah, last year. So
so
yeah,
you can say he has 1 to 3 championships that he should have won or he could have definitely
yeah,
won. Just circumstances that are outside of his control.
yeah. I mean, you could say that he was the goat, and even when he was racing against like Ferrari, more like people say they weren't that good, but like Ferrari always had a chance to win the championships. Like when it was Vettel in 2017 and 2018, Vettel could have easily won those championships, but Hamilton stayed cool and Vettel didn't. So
Yep.
Hamilton won, and that was that. That's how you win championship. That's how you become the goat.
Yep.
So yeah, he's still there. He's still holding strong, but 1 or 2 more years.
All right. That's it. We
All
made it to
right.
the end.
Sounds good. I guess we'll be back next week with the Australian results. I'm so fucking hyped. I'm excited to see everything. Um, I feel like it's gonna be a chaotic race.
Yep.
I do think that like a lot of following, a lot of dangerous circumstances for the RS zones. But I think the Ferraris are gonna come on top. Third place is gonna go to America. That's my final prediction.
Maybe a prediction for me is like some of the back markers are gonna cause some issues.
Some safety cars.
No, like when they are being lapped,
Ah, okay, interesting. All right, that might be
because
true.
it's a shorter track now.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of like. It's not a very wide track. It's a very
Correct.
yeah. It's a very thin one. So
So
all right, all right. I guess we'll be back next week. Thanks everybody for watching.
let me stop recording.